Okay, so let's talk about starting a business. The world is in a very, very odd place at the moment. Lots of uncertainties going on. And however, every situation can create something pretty amazing, pretty out of the box, So you might just want to really have a look at your environment, where you live, your town, your village, your community. And obviously, I don't know what type of business you want to do, but it's really good to do the research at the moment because things are evolving all the time. So this could be very much to do with the new entrepreneurship. Every time the world has a transformation, it destroys a lot of things. Unfortunately, some of them really don't deserve to be. I feel at the moment some things definitely that are coming to an end abruptly. It's completely unfair and it's not how it should be. However, I do trust in God and I do trust in universe, and I know however difficult things are, things will be okay in the end. So this is could be a very essential time for people who want to start their own businesses. I wish you luck. Do the work. And I think also in this situation, it's very important to be resilient. So it's very important to, if you do have a job, to keep your job going and keep the business going alongside. And don't rock the boat because we don't really know where we're going to be soon, So just keep all your options open. And the other thing is, because we have access to social media, we can do a lot of things free of charge. So keep expenses to an absolute minimum. Personally, I started my YouTube channel with no money. And I continued doing my own business, and I still, would say, if you can do that, and that is what my teacher Janati told me to do, to actually just keep everything really free of charge. You don't need to have a website nowadays because you can use YouTube or Facebook or whatever platform you want to use, and so you can do things in that manner. And obviously, if you want to go on Patreon and other platforms like that, then they do take a big percentages of your money. So, but that's, at the end of the day, nothing ventured, nothing gained, So it's still better to have that expense-free thing than to actually think, but if I did it this way and if I did it through my own website, I'll take more money. That's something you can do after, but definitely for now, just keep everything until we are a bit more settled, and that will come. Some countries will get the, I just feel literally, some countries will get their freedom, stability, and commerce will be much more stable than other countries. Every country is different, every country has got its own thing going on. Every community has got its own thing going on. So it's very important to just keep everything free of all of that. It's a really good idea to actually go to the banks, most banks, or you can just check that on the internet. In the UK, we call it a business plan. A business plan, I don't want you to do one for a bank, but I think business plans are very good for actually giving you structure. So they want to know, and you have to be very, I remember I did the business plan. This is just before, would have been like 2005. And at the time, the business that I had was really, really flourishing. And I was going to go to open a second branch in a town nearby, city nearby, which was bigger and, very up and very sort of busy, very successful city, if you like. So I was thinking, if I move, what would be my business model? I can take that over to this area and, just expand the business. And really, and what I did, I used a business plan, And this obviously was saying, you know, how much you think you'll you'll be how much will be your turnover over so many months or over so many years, and how will you, like, what would your bottom line or profit line would be and everything. And I have to tell you now, looking back, I wasn't really, obviously, I didn't think about it that carefully, because what happened was we then 3 years later, we went into a recession, world recession. And those kind of things are totally out of our control. So it's very important to actually realize to be humble about your figures, and I wasn't humble about my figures. And actually at the time, banks were just giving money to everybody left, right and center. And I didn't do my homework properly for that area, because the area that I went to in the UK, that area is very different to the market town that I was living in. The market town I was living in, it's very much like people knew me for a really long time. So there was that level of trust. And also, I was quite a pioneer in what I was doing in that area, because I did it way back, and they've seen, even if they might not have been a client of mine or customer of mine, but they had seen the business model, they had heard about us, about our reputation. So they kind of were familiar, something that over the years, and I was there for many years, people knew of my business kind of thing. And so when I went into a new area, whereas I had enjoyed being the big fish in a small pond, I was now a small fish in a large pond. So I was completely lost. Didn't have the reputation, didn't have the recommendations that clients had given. And also the other thing that I did, obviously, I know there are businesses that don't need locations, but the location that I chose, although it was very nice, it was not good for business. The footfall wasn't big. So location, location, location every time is very important, to be in the hub. And if you can't afford to be in the hub, try to see if a local business, which is not in competition with you, can actually allow you to work in their premises, say once or twice a week to begin with, and just to, come to some sort of agreement with them. Excuse me. It's very important to do things slowly. I think that's the problem. And I think my business grew too fast and I lost control of it. And the bigger the business becomes, the more people you're bringing in, and you can't really see to everybody's needs and wants. And as well as your staff, you have your clients, you have your family. It's a lot. And I think looking back now, I can actually tell you, it's so much better to be small business, be consistent. Always perform at your best for everyone, and have the respect and trust of the community. That will be really, really much more important than being the spreading yourself thin. So you can't look after every aspect. You got to trust people, and people, not everybody is trustworthy. Not everybody is going to work. Not everybody agrees with your ethos, with your principles, with your values. So it is very different. And no doubt anything to do with work, because this is like the karma you're paying to the society, this will bring out people who might have been your enemies, open enemies or secret enemies from previous lives. They definitely come in. So we need to deal with those things and put them right. And we don't want to carry those things. And I didn't really know all these things. So now I think if I was to go into that situation, I would deal with it differently. But I know astrology now, Vedic astrology. I didn't know about Vedic astrology there. So these are very important. So I would say, recapping on what I was saying, do your market research. So if you're doing things online, you want to see the competition, see what other people do. If they have a name, a brand or something that's very famous or anything, it's good. So just see what are their USPs, unique selling points. Um, what are the things that attract people? Sometimes I think it's really nice to have a very simple website, which is really easy to navigate through. Some websites are really, really hard to navigate through. One of the things I don't like at all is, like, I think Zara, which sell clothing. I do like their stores and I love going into a Zara store, but I just would not do any online shopping with them, because on their website they got their website and they got this really thick banner on top, so you can't really see things properly because this banner is always there, so you're trying to look through things and like a third of the screen is taken up by that. I don't see any point in that. So I don't like online shopping anyway. Personally, it's not for me. Kind of the more I've done this year, I've just cut back on it. I just don't want to deal with any big companies. I'm not really interested in online shopping. I want to go and spend cash, and I want to spend it at my local stores, people that got small businesses. I'm not interested in supporting any large businesses at all. I want a community-based business. And I think it's because I'm getting older now, so I'm very much like, I don't want to deal with the hassles of paying for things online. So all that kind of things for me, it's more about my community. Whereas when I was younger, it was different, So, and I guess like my younger cousins and all of that, they do everything online. So that would not suit me, who I am as a person now. So I think I'm going back to the olden days. I prefer to do that. So I just and I think one of the things that I absolutely detest is GDPR, because I think you kind of they don't give you a choice. Some websites, any site that doesn't give me a choice to reject things. And I think it should just be like a global thing. You just say no and you don't get any more advertising. I just cannot stand it. Anything like that they're trying to be deceptive, and you say no, but they got all these other things that you can't actually reject. So, that would not be for me. Absolutely, I don't like anything deceitful like that. To me, truth is everything. So yeah, so just want to be true. Sorry, I went in a tangent there. So yeah, so find out what sort of things you like, and then try to sort of like condense it, because you don't want to be all things to all men. That doesn't work. I've tried that. It doesn't work. It just means, again, what you're doing, it's like a elastic band. If you just stretch it, at some point it's going to go ping and it's going to break. So you just want to just have that level of control over stretching of the elastic band. So you just want to just have product or a service that you are really good at and you can be consistent at. And also, if you, for example, if you are electronic engineer, so you say to somebody that you will be, because I think one of the things that really people forget is, like, when you start a business, communication is everything, and that's one of the things that I'm actually struggling with now. So when you have communication is everything, say, for example, so if you say to somebody that yes, or your ethos, or what you're telling people is that I will try to, um, come back to you within 24 hours. You have to go back to them within 24 hours, because that is your pledge. You pledged to your people. You made a contract with your customers, so you must be true to yourself. And if you can't do it, so you can actually then change that pledge to 24 to 48 hours. If you have said to them 24 hours and it's going to be 24 or 26 hours, you contact them and you tell them. So important to people love communication. People like to know what's happening. So the more you keep people in the loop, the better it is for you and for them, because they're more likely to come back to you, because you're building that trust. Trust is so important. And honestly, if you can't keep that, it might be better to work for somebody else. I just think that is so important. If you are pledging something, you have to deliver it 100%. And so, okay, so basically you've chosen what you want to do, the service, the product. You do the market research to see whether or not, it's something that say if it's a product and you want to sell it locally, or you want to have premises, and it's better not to have premises. Try and work with somebody so you can enhance their range of products. And I mean, I know, like, for example, this is some of the things I've seen. So there are cafes that trade, just say, for example, 7 till 5 p.m. and they shut after that. So I know friends of mine who've started businesses and they didn't want to have premises because it was too expensive. So they agreed with the owners of those businesses, if that's okay, if they could then take over from 5 o'clock when they shut down and do evening dinners, or, you know, mezes or tapas. They can have live music, bring somebody in, all that kind of stuff. So that's just like, it just means that you don't have to have premises. The people who actually have the premises, if they know you and they know that you work to a really high standard and look after their property and keep it clean, keep it safe, you know, all the fire sort of like things. And that just means that they are earning money whilst they're not there. That actually enhances your profile and their profile. And that just brings about a really nice harmonious thing. So it also means that you don't have to work all the hours under the sun. You've got your own business, your own job, and you've got a business that you're doing on the side. So it's not completely intrusive on your family, particularly if you have children or a spouse. You don't want to be always working. And that would be really nice, you know. So if you know, then friends of yours who are, maybe they're in a band or sing, you know, they could then maybe come in as well. Obviously, I know some places they need to have license for things like that, but that just means that it just creates like a domino effect, and everybody within that support one another. That is so important. But it's really important that you clarify with the owner of that business so there's no misunderstanding. So at the end of the day, they should get a fair rent. Maybe you can negotiate and just say that, if, you know, we can actually see within 3 months if we're doing well and we're fully booked, and we give you like a percentage of our take-ins. And you know, just I think percentage of take-ins is always better than rental per hour, because you know, sometimes it could be, you know, like any sort of business, it could really be busy, it could not be busy, depends on the weather as well. So that way, you know, you have a clear understanding that maybe you're going to be opening like on a Tuesday and a Friday night, and this is like what you want to do in terms of percentages. That will work really, really well. And then also, like, for example, if you have a card business, greetings cards, you can then have a stand that you can negotiate with some of the local businesses. If you could, you know, have a little space, and you will give them a percentage of what you sell as well. And you go there every so many days and replenish what's been sold. You can do that online as well. You know, I just think there are so many. And but I think, you know, you have to see what you want to do, you know, so in order to make it work, and you always got to put all the costs in there. So if you're doing greetings cards and things like that, you know, you're a small business, so you want to make money out of it, and you want to charge the postage. So you got to be true to yourself, because you don't want to be working really, really hard and you're not really making the bottom line, what you are taking is, if it's not cost effective, it's a lot of effort and you're not making money out of it. So I just want to kind of give you like it's really good to manage things in a really good way. So you have like a system in place, you know, because on the very, very top of everything is you, and your desires go on the very, very top, because that is ultimately what's filtering through. So you want to know what your dream is. Your dream is for your personal thing. It's not to do with, I want to finish my mortgage or anything like that. No, you want to have your dream. Your dream thing could be that I want to work till I'm 58, for example, or, you know, that kind of thing. Or I want to have my, you know, I want to be living blah, blah place, you know, for my retirement. That's a dream. You want to have your goals, so you want to make sure that you have like pensions in place. You want to have a level that you want to work out. You know, this is the income that I want to have, and this is, you know, This is how I see my vision for the business. You want to plan and you want to action it. And it's very important then to recruit people. I think astrology is an amazing tool for that. So when you do find your business model that you want, you do your market research, you try and start your business small and grow it, then you can actually then do all of this whilst you're working. As the business starts growing, then you want to make sure whoever you recruit, you make sure as you are talking to people, you do like a compatibility between your chart and their chart. Because if you are putting a lot of effort and you put in a lot of trust in somebody, if they turn out to be your personal enemy, you will lose everything, because your enemy will come in and all the work that you have done, believe me, this has happened to me. You, by recruiting your enemy, you are literally writing off all that hard work that you put in, because they can also come in, copy your business model, take your clients. They can do that, or destroy your business. So you want to make sure you don't do that. You really work properly and you protect that as well. And don't ever be over greedy, like I want to earn this much money and, you know, all this, like write a business plan that is obviously, I know this is not the business plan. I think it's quite good because it gives you structure, but I wouldn't really borrow money from banks. They crucify you with start small and steady. That's so much better than start and then all the way down. No. And that is the reality of today's market. So planning is very important. Plan everything. Have plans. Plan. So I want to just really emphasize how important planning is. You need to plan, replan, and plan again at every stage. I would literally say it's very good to have a regular review of what you're doing. So whether it's you do it weekly, you do it monthly, do it 3 monthly, you need to do it. You need to be on top of your business, because no point going into business and work for yourself, you know, and have what do you call it? Have no idea what's happening, you know, because you have to manage your business from day one and keep managing it. The moment you become so busy and you have staff and you're no longer managing your business, you're just running it, you've lost control of your business. Know that 100%, unless you're working with your mum and you trust your mum really a lot and she's in control. If you don't do it, your business is gone. There is no success there. And so as I said, you know, make sure before you start your business, definitely do a muhurta. Really auspicious time for you, for the business. Make sure it's always good, a dasha that's supportive. It's not in our vinashaka period. And really plan. I think planning at every level is very important. Be very organized, have things in place, and monitor regularly, weekly, as I said, monthly, complete 3 monthly, annually, you know, 6 monthly, annually. Always want to be monitoring. You want to know how all these sorts of things, because you want to achieve your desires. So in order to achieve your desires, you have to be on top of it. And also, I always think it's really good that you keep in on top of things that are happening in your sector. So if you're an electrical engineer, you know what's happening, new training courses and things. I always think it's really good to be to update your information. You want to be very current, but also I personally don't like to be. I'm much more of a reactive person to new trends. I don't like to be the first person to take something on. I think that can be good, that can be bad as well, because obviously people, like, for example, went into digital money. You know, I didn't go into it, and I think a lot of them have made money. You know, just not my thing really. So I'm not very good at fads. I don't really like being fashionable. But also those sort of things don't sit right with me. So you have to see what sits right with you. But you don't want to be chopping and changing. And I always said that when I was doing my business, I didn't want to have those clients who are constantly following fashion and they jump from one tree to the next to the next. And to me, that sounds like a dissatisfaction with themselves, because one minute, I suppose if you say from the beauty world, one minute they like got these nails and then they got those nails, and then they've seen Kim Kardashian having this. So they're going to different places, trying different things. Whereas for me, if I did nails, for me, it would not be about like how they look, but the quality of them underneath the paint. That would be important to me. So I'm very, like for me, for example, I got my Venus in Capricorn, so it's all very much about foundation. Foundation has got to be stable, security based, because it's 4 houses away from Venus's more Trachona sign. So I will not be interested in fashion and new trends and things like that. I would want something that's traditional and conservative, long lasting, and I want to get my money's worth. That will be me. So that will not suit me. So you have to see what your chart is like, what kind of things does it represent. Those sort of things are very important. So there are always good to be proactive about certain things, depending on what suits you, and reactive about some things. So I would say definitely do your homework, ask the questions. If you don't want to ever spend money, invest in anything, if it takes you a really long time to recoup that. You want to always be on top of everything. So I have done that as well. And I know it's very, very easy to be taken in by a new product and invest in it and do all that training, all that thing. And then actually it doesn't work at all, because really the results are not great. So I should have perhaps spent that money having the treatments or whatever, seeing what the results are. So those are the things I wanted to say. POM, plan, organize, monitor. That is what you want to do at every opportunity possible. So the conclusions from this session is that you need to kind of do your market research. First of all, know what you want to do. Do your market research. Do you want to do something locally, or do you want to do something globally? So, and never start a business leaving your job. Keep your job going and trying to do things that are just like bite size, and you slowly can introduce your business to the community. Depending on the business, some businesses are obviously you can do service or product globally, so whatever suits your needs, but do your homework. Make sure you're always consistent, and make sure you keep to the ethos. It's very important to have like ethos or principle, or what they call mission statement for the business. So if you say you're going to be like reliable and consistent and persistent, be it. If you promise people something, you have to do it. If you don't want to do it, or you can't do it, you have to change your mission statement to be. It's got to validate. You got to validate what you're saying to people. If there is I don't believe in growing the businesses too fast. I think it's always better to be the big fish in small pond, and really get to know, become more effective, be more consistent and reliable as a brand. Because the more you kind of are persistent, you're no longer a business, you become a brand, and the brand is something that people can actually trust. So that will be very important. We talk about brand next time, but yeah, those kind of things are important. And I actually just touched a little bit about, like, if you get somebody to work with you, I will not, at the very beginning of any business, don't think it's a good idea to recruit staff. It's quite good to ask friends and family to help you. And don't take that for granted. Always thank them, always give them a reward for that. Maybe you can do something for them in exchange. So I just think that if you start taking people for granted, that will actually also damage your brand name, your business in the long run. So you always want to have respect of anybody who helps you in any way. So whether or not you buy them some flowers or, whatever, thank them, personally write a card to them every so often, and, just be really grateful for that. There's people's time and energy going into helping you. You need to then actually be grateful for that too. Right, so I'm going to leave you at that, and I'll see you next time.